Hello boys and girls, how are you? This is JC, and once again I have another yo-yo review. But this time definitely not C3, because if I do another C3, this channel is going to feel like a sponsored channel, but without sponsorship money. So yeah, let's not do that. So today we have the Duncan Freehand. It goes in this box. Now this yo-yo is actually, well, titanium freehand. And it's actually made of titanium with aluminum caps. That's actually quite beautiful, but let's go over the accessories first. So first of all, we have a nice wooden box, even though the wood kind of feels cheap, but it's already a better packaging than most yo-yos out there, so props to Duncan. Next, we have these plasticky caps you can swap out the aluminum caps with, and these are definitely lighter, so you can change the weight and the weight distribution of the yo-yo. Next, we have some counterweights. 2 of them. And this one I think is supposed to be, these are supposed to be used together so that it can slide on the string, but I'm not. I'm not a 5A player. I guess I shouldn't be reviewing a yo-yo called Freehand, but here I am. And you get a spare string. Okay, back to the yo-yo. This is the titanium freehand, titanium, aluminum. Now first thing I notice is it doesn't really feel titanium. Like it doesn't make the sound that everyone loves. And in terms of design, I think I would prefer for this to have a lighter gold caps design, but it's fine. It's, I guess, personal preference. It's the cool 20th anniversary edition, which I think is worth mentioning that the basic raw version of this yo-yo is $300, which is already quite a bit. But if you want these special caps, you need to pay $50 extra. And this is not even the highest level. And there's one tier above this, the unknown, the black version. You're paying $400, so $100 extra just to get differently colored caps. But I guess this is a collector's item, so we can't really use regular logic to look at the pricing. So speaking of collector's item, this is a Freehand One, a remake of the Freehand, the original Freehand, which is one of the most iconic names in the yo-yo world, I think. And usually when a company does a remake of yo-yo like this, you have to kind of make a choice between whether they stick with the classic shape, the classic design, and kind of sacrifice a bit in terms of performance, or they update it and stray a bit from its origin. And clearly Duncan kind of went with the first one, because this is literally, I don't have a Freehand One to compare with, but this is, yeah, what I remember the Freehand to be, basically, exactly. The only difference in terms of, I guess, shape and design is that I think the axle, the response pads, and the bearing are different. We use a C-shaped or C-sized concave bearing. And the response pads, thankfully, are now silicone pads instead of the old Duncan response, which are awful to deal with. But everything else in terms of the shape is very old school. Now, if you compare it to something like the shutter, yeah, you can see this is a definitely. See, shutter is not even the widest yo-yo, but the freehand is just, yeah, not even close. And even if you look at one of the newer Duncan releases, this is the Duncan Tourney. Yeah, you can easily tell these are designs from 2 different eras. So I think we can expect that this is probably not the best performing yo-yo, not really a competition yo-yo, but we will see. So on the string, the first thing I noticed with the freehand is, again, it doesn't feel very titanium. It feels almost identical to the aluminum freehand, which kind of bothers me because I paid super extra for this. And it feels like, I guess the caps kind of dictate the weight distribution. So yeah, I don't feel like it performs much differently. And it doesn't even perform that much better than a regular aluminum freehand one. So that was a bit of a bummer. But aside from that, I think this is a fine yo-yo. It's not like, sure, it's not a competition throw, but it's definitely not a terrible yo-yo. It's a fine performer. Because if you think about it, the yo-yos nowadays are made for world champions, all these crazy people like the Shion Arayas, the Gentry Steins, the Evan Nagals. And for the rest of us, I think, do we really need a drop near? Do we really need something crazy? Not really. We can do probably most of our tricks on a freehand. Like for me, my tricks are, even if you take my tricks to 2007, they're probably not even that impressive. So yeah, again, freehand can handle everything you throw at it, almost. Sure, the walls are kind of high. It's not ideal for example, side style, and you kind of have to pay more attention when you do the more intense tricks, but it can deal with most things. So yeah, if you want a fun old school throw, this is a decent choice. But if you're looking for something that's, if you want something that's like high performance or something that gives you the unique titanium feel, this is probably not the best yo-yo, the Freehand TI. Now the Freehand TI is, again, if you want a first titanium yo-yo, not this one. But if you want a collector's item like this, or if you are a huge fan of Duncan, you want something iconic, I think this is a serviceable yo-yo, and it's different than anything I have in my collection. So I do find that I pick this up quite often compared to a lot of the other more samey yo-yos. So at $300, would I recommend this? You probably don't need my recommendation, because if you're buying something like this, you know what you're getting into. I'm just here to make sure that you realize this yo-yo, again, is not a competitor. I haven't tried it with the plastic caps though. I probably should. Oh, another thing is that the caps are, man, they're difficult to remove. They're really difficult to remove. And I thought you could just poke and they would come out, but I guess for the sake of precision, they fit really tightly, and you have to use like a pump to get it out. You have to, boom, you kind of pop the caps out with air pressure. I tried that once, I don't want to try it again. And another thing is, with the caps installed, the yo-yo does have a bit of a vibe, and they mentioned it in the official statement. So yeah, with all of these things noted, if you still want something like this, I mean, why not? Duncan is one of the most iconic names in yo-yo, and this is their 20th anniversary kind of remembrance product. So yeah, as a collector or just a more serious player, get it. Thanks. Bye.